Welcome to the Social Work Voices, a channel for emerging social workers navigating the big decisions that shape our careers and values. I'm your host, and today we're tackling one of the most common sources of stress for BSW and MSW students, choosing between clinical, macro, or policy pathways. You're passionate about social work, but maybe you're realizing that the curriculum heavily emphasizes clinical, one-on-one therapeutic work. And that's not where your heart is. You're more interested in teaching, policy change, systems reform. So what now? Are you in the wrong field? Let's talk about that and why the answer is likely no. Clinical may be the default, but it's not the only way. Social work programs, particularly BSW and even many MSW programs, are often structured around preparing students for licensure and clinical roles. That means coursework may be tilted toward individual assessment, diagnostic tools, and therapeutic models. But this is not the entirety of the profession. It's important to understand that clinical work is emphasized because of licensing requirements, not because it's the only valid path. Licensing boards and accrediting bodies focus on core competencies that are testable, especially those tied to direct practice. However, social work at its core is incredibly broad, and the macro/policy stream, while less visible in the curriculum, is equally important and deeply needed in today's world. You are not alone, and you are not on the wrong track. Many students feel this tension. You're interested in social justice, systems change, advocacy, maybe even teaching future social workers how policy shapes practice, but you feel like you're being trained to become a therapist, and you're worried you're on the wrong path. Let me reassure you, you're not on the wrong path. You are gaining a professional lens, a way of seeing systems, power structures, and human needs through a social work framework. That foundation is essential, whether you're sitting with a client in therapy, analyzing a legislative bill, or designing a community program. In fact, many macro and policy-focused professionals started out exactly where you are. What distinguishes their journey is how they strategically shaped their training, electives, internships, and postgraduate experiences. Practical steps to navigate the path toward policy and macro practice. Let's talk about some practical strategies if you know that macro or policy work is your long-term goal. Choose electives and field placements intentionally. Seek out courses in policy analysis, program evaluation, community organizing, or research. Look for field placements with advocacy groups, think tanks, policy institutes, public agencies, or nonprofit administration. Explore programs with macro concentrations. When researching MSW programs, check whether they offer advanced generalist, policy, planning and administration, PPA, organizational leadership, or macro practice tracks. Strengthen your skill set with complementary minors or certifications. Consider coursework in public administration, nonprofit leadership, data analytics, political science, or law. These can make you more competitive for policy jobs. Build your policy literacy and professional network. Join policy-focused social work associations, attend webinars, and follow professionals in the field. Many macro practitioners are willing to share insights and mentorship. Reach out to faculty or field instructors who specialize in policy. Don't be discouraged by the scarcity narrative. While policy and teaching roles are fewer compared to clinical jobs, they do exist, and social work is one of the few degrees that gives you access to both. You'll need to articulate your value and macro expertise clearly, especially in spaces where people expect a clinical background. What if you want to teach? Teaching future social workers is a powerful way to create long-term change. If this is your goal, know that you don't always need a PhD or DSW right away. Many colleges hire instructors with a master's degree, particularly if you have strong field experience. Adjunct teaching, guest lectures, or TA roles during your MSW can open doors. Eventually, if you wish to pursue tenure-track roles or publish research, a PhD or DSW will likely be necessary. But that's a long-term step, not a barrier to your goals today. To the student out there wondering if you're in the wrong program because your passion isn't therapy, you're not in the wrong place. You're in a field rich with possibility, one that needs clinicians and policy advocates, administrators and researchers, educators, and community organizers. Your role is to craft your path with intention. Be strategic, be curious, and be bold about claiming your space in this profession. Thanks for joining me on the Social Work Voices. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a peer or colleague who's asking the same questions. And remember, there's more than one way to be a social worker. Please consider subscribing our channel for more insightful videos.